Voilà. Bonjour YouTube, comment ça va? Bienvenue aujourd'hui dans ce nouveau let's play sur The Stanley Parable, jeu dont j'entends parler depuis pas mal de temps et dont j'avais envie de tester le gameplay. Apparemment le jeu est un peu méta, etc. Je connais pas du tout, j'ai juste vu que ça utilisait le moteur source et notamment des moteurs de jeu que j'aime beaucoup, notamment Half-Life et Portal. Et vu qu'on a fait Portal il y a pas longtemps avec Little E, pourquoi pas, on enchaîne avec The Stanley Parable. Je pense que comme Counter-Strike, ça doit très probablement être un mode d'un autre jeu Valve qui a dû être transposé en jeu. Il y a de très fortes chances que ce soit ça, donc je sais à peu près à quoi m'attendre au niveau du gameplay. Néanmoins, je suis quand même curieux parce qu'on en parle souvent beaucoup en bien. Et donc, j'ai envie de tester, tout simplement. J'ai envie de tester parce qu'après tout, voilà, One Life, hein, on teste des jeux vidéo. Et que j'ai envie d'essayer. Apparemment, il est vraiment bien. Et donc, on va voir ça tous ensemble. On va voir ça tous ensemble. Hop, je lance le jeu. Et je lance le jeu que je mange. Développé par Crowcrows. Écrit par Davy Ryden. Entrée l'heure actuelle, il est 19h04. 19h, 7h, 4. Attendez. Avant de commencer, est-ce que je peux dire quelque chose? Merci d'avoir vraiment réglé l'heure les 2 fois où vous avez lancé le jeu. Ah oui, j'ai lancé le jeu hier pour faire des tests avec la résolution d'écran. Mais j'ai pas joué au jeu, je suis juste allé sur le menu principal. Donc déjà, le jeu m'agresse. Tant de gens ne prennent pas cette étape au sérieux et laissent l'heure réglée sur midi et basta. Mais vous avez pris le temps d'indiquer l'heure, et je vous en suis reconnaissant. Je sais ainsi que vous vous souciez de votre expérience. Votre attention est focalisée sur le jeu. D'ailleurs, je n'ai aucun moyen de vérifier si l'heure que vous avez entrée est correcte. Je veux vous le dire, nous allons passer un marché. Puisque vous faites preuve de tellement de bonne volonté, la prochaine fois que vous lancerez... la prochaine fois que vous lancerez le jeu et vous verrez cet écran, vous n'aurez qu'à saisir votre heure préférée. Allez-y, choisissez l'heure que vous voulez, même si ce n'est pas la bonne heure. Vous l'avez bien mérité. Sur ce, je vous laisse accéder au jeu. Ok, d'accord. Merci. Globalement, je change rien, quoi. The Stanley Parable. Je n'ai aucune idée. Donc, vous jouez à The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Je sais pas si c'est une version du jeu aboutie avec plus de trucs. Je n'ai aucune idée. J'ai acheté cette version parce que c'était la moins chère. Tout simplement. Et Iron Josh, bonjour à toi. Bonjour à toutes celles et ceux qui débarquent. Bienvenue sur The Stanley Parable. On est parti. Commencez le jeu. Loading. The end is never the end, and is never the end, is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor at his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
He was happy.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
Il est tombé dans les
He had
backrooms.
been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ouais. Et je crois... Attendez, je ne suis pas sûr. Je crois que si je reste immobile, la voix off commence à réagir. Ah merde, attendez, c'est paramètres du jeu. Le jeu est raciste, attendez. Voilà. Putain, ça a pas pris en compte. À droite. À gauche. Z, Q, S, D. Voilà, c'est bon. Ok, putain, par contre, la prise en main est très particulière. Une tasse de café. Est-ce que j'ai... Mes touches sont bonnes. Alors, attendez. Excusez-moi, je suis insupportable. Interagir, space, ok. Interagir supplémentaire, ok. Accroupi, s'accroupir, ok. Contrôle, ok. Normalement, j'ai bien réglé mon truc TikTok, donc maintenant, je peux m'accroupir dans les jeux. I hate Monday, je déteste les lundis. Ok. Y'a rien. Si je ferme la porte.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here
Ah, je
it
peux pas
comes.
sauter.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been
Ah
trained
merde!
for that.
Il est bien fait le jeu. Ouais, il est
This
plutôt beau.
couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself.
Je veux sortir!
Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break
En fait,
me.
j'ai...
In here I can be happy forever.
C'est que j'ai... Enfin, j'ai perdu parce que j'ai fermé la porte.
Stanley waited. Hours
D'accord,
passed,
très bien.
then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability
J'ai
to tell.
perdu.
But the
J'ai
one
perdu
thing he
le
knew
jeu,
for
j'ai eu
sure
un game
beyond
over parce que
any
j'ai
doubt
fermé la
was
porte.
that if he waited long enough, the
Pika,
answers
bonjour.
would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken
Vient quand
to.
même de prendre en compte
He
l'heure
will
et
be
tout.
told what to do.
Ah ouais.
Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Pourquoi Here It Comes et ça s'arrête? Bon, on sort. Ok, bon, ça a l'air d'être un jeu d'énigmes. Par contre, j'ai l'impression que le FOV est atroce. Volume principal, non, général, vidéo. On va voir. Anti-aliasing, type de qualité, plein écran, synchronisation verticale, champ de vision. On va baisser, on va rallonger un peu le champ de vision parce que je vois rien. Voilà, c'est un peu mieux. Il y a personne dans les bureaux.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Ouais.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
J'aime beaucoup ce bureau avec juste un taille-crayon.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Oh. J'ai éteint l'ordinateur? Mais t'imagines, on dirait pas un peu l'open space de Webedia? Non. Pourquoi les feuilles sont par terre? Et puis c'est où ça? On dirait la forêt de Fangorn dans Le Seigneur des Anneaux. Toujours pas. J'ai cru que j'étais tombé dans la même pièce. Est-ce que ça va être comme dans The Walking Dead et genre je vais me rendre compte qu'en fait c'est la fin du monde, il y a des zombies partout et que c'est l'enfer? Et je touche les objets, et je touche... Ah, ça vous fait chier, hein. Je vais mettre des traces de doigts partout. Tiens. Je vais mettre des traces de doigts partout. Non, ici, je mets... Waiting input. Comment ça? Input received. D'accord. Ok. 420. J'ai eu un input. Je sais pas pourquoi. Je déteste la vie. Je continue de toucher tout ce qui bouge. C'est le bureau d'Inox Tag. Inox. Non, bon. Je ferme la porte. Est-ce que je peux la rouvrir? Oui, je peux la rouvrir, mais je vais la refermer. Toujours pas. Très bien.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Comment ça dans celle de gauche? Par pur esprit de contradiction.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Mais tout le monde a été tué ou quoi? Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé ici? Par la salle de pause. Toujours personne. Elle est belle la salle de pause. Ça ressemble un peu à Aperture Science hein, quand même. Hein. On dirait vraiment Portal. Hein. Toujours pas. Toujours personne. Ah.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Ah. S'imprégner de l'atmosphère. Et je touche des trucs.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Ah, il faut que je fasse chier la voix off en fait.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
C'est Webedia quand Squeezie est parti.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue.
En attendant la suite des dialogues, mais après un autre.
There was no more. He decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Et je pose mes doigts partout. Je peux pas me prendre un soda. Ah, les détails de cette touche. Ah. Je pose mes doigts. Bref. On va partir.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Ok, c'est dans moi.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Non, je marcherai pas droit.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Et la porte s'est ouverte.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Ok.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Oui?
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Il y a quelqu'un dans la voiture? Les phares sont allumés. Vous allez niquer votre batterie. Oh là.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh. Who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ah. Bon. Alors apparemment, c'était pas ce qu'il fallait faire. Ah, cette fois-ci, cet ordinateur-là est éteint. Ouais, c'est Charles Xavier. Ouais, c'est ça. C'est Charles Xavier.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
On doit trouver l'histoire. On va aller à gauche cette fois-ci. Ah, et ça ramène dans cette pièce là qui était pas normale. Ok, d'accord. Ok, et ça
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Ah mais c'est les backrooms, hein. On est complètement perdu dans les backrooms. Et si je ferme la porte? Ah, je peux pas fermer la porte.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bon, pour l'instant, le jeu me plaît beaucoup. Ah. Bon, toujours pas.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
J'espère que c'est... Elle était pas renversée là tout à l'heure? Putain, j'ai l'impression que c'est un jeu d'horreur. Et on est d'accord que ces portes-là étaient pas ouvertes tout à l'heure. Attendez, il se passe des trucs. Et ici, il y avait un input. Pourquoi cet écran-là, il est éteint? Oh là là.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
Ah, ça va me faire tourner.
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Oh là là.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Yay.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
The line. Et si je décide de fermer la porte? Bon, suivons la ligne de l'aventure. Si je... Ah bah on part à droite cette fois-ci? On part à droite. Il y avait pas une autre pièce tout à l'heure?
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life
Qu'est-ce qu'il
itself?
raconte?
Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Non, ça... Elle est pas très adaptée, non? Et un peu forte. Quoi? Bah alors là, en fait, si les lignes... Quoi? Ah, d'accord. Ah, dam, 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 dam.
Cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Et il me disait tout à l'heure, pas de spoiler. Au revoir. Bonne journée. Merci d'être passé. Mister.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Il nous ramène à la fin du jeu.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Il pleut. C'est encore différent. J'éteins le bureau.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Ok. Imaginez ça nous amène dans la salle de pause de tout à l'heure.
Yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Ouais.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Oh putain, ça m'a fait peur. Ah! Réel, j'en fais des cauchemars. Coucou Merné. Coucou HB au passage. Merci beaucoup HB. Coucou les gens de chez HB. Coucou Miss. Bah oui, je vois Miss. Le jeu est si long. Je vous vois. Bonjour à tous, comment vous allez? Quand je sais pas quoi faire, je regarde des vidéos des fins. Ah, il y a plusieurs fins! Mais bonjour, bonjour au raid, ouais. Bon, elle est partie. La ligne est partie.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley. Our
Et elle va nous amener à la salle de pause.
Awaits.
Quoi?
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times?
Vous avez joué la fin troublante pendant 10 ans.
Really how all
Quoi?
this goes? It's all determined?
Aïe aïe aïe, un passage à HB,
So
j'espère
now,
que tout
according
s'est
to
bien
the
passé chez
schedule,
toi,
I
j'espère que vous
restart
avez passé
again.
un bon
Then
stream
what?
chez lui.
Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
D'accord.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that.
Oh wow. Non sérieux, on a supprimé l'option. Reçu pour avoir obtenu n'importe quel autre succès. Quoi? J'ai quoi? Les succès Steam sont trop bizarres. Bonsoir, Sanjicus.
In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure beyond
L'alarme à la fin, là, la première fois, elle m'a tellement stressé premier degré, elle m'a fait peur.
Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told
tu vas devenir un fanboy. Mais ça suffit.
Just a little bit closer.
Ça suffit, oui.
Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Et on recommence.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
Bah non, c'est le bon. Pourquoi il me sème le doute? Il y a un deuxième input received. Ok. Il y a les deux portes.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ouais.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Le bureau de son chef pour espérer y trouver une réponse. D'accord, donc là on joue la vraie histoire en fait.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Oh, quand tu me dis ça... Oh, comme tu me dis ça, moi je vais juste rester là.
No choice to make,
comme tout à l'heure.
Just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Moi je vais juste rester là.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Yes. Au revoir, Ola, je dois y aller, pas de soucis.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Restons dans le placard à balai. Moi aussi, bye bye, bye bye.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. It didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever.
Bah alors pourquoi il a été mis là?
I never would have thought to mention it.
J'adore ce personnage, c'est clair, c'est hilarant.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
Oh putain.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Ah oui, d'accord. Ok. Mec, j'ai eu la fin du placard à balai, c'est vrai?
Conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Imagine, il y a vraiment un gars, il a canné premier degré là, et t'as le narrateur qui gueule. C'était exactement ce que j'étais en train de me dire. Je me dis, est-ce que du coup, il y a quelqu'un qui est déjà mort devant son écran dans le placard à balai? C'est la vraie question que je me suis posée.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
On pouvait aller en dessous. Mais je vais suivre le chemin, j'ai envie de savoir. Executive bathroom. Because the boss know that... Alors, parce que le boss sait... if the boss suffered loss, then that's what the boss choose. Comment ça? Je vais mettre mes doigts partout. Pour le moment, on n'a pas interagi avec grand chose à part avec les portes. Hein. Ta 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 ta. Ta 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 ta. Ça c'est le bureau de Monsieur Burns. Pourquoi il y a un truc avec un panda et un ascenseur? Business stratégie, tuer les pandas. C'est ça le business stratégie? Bon. On avance.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Wow. Un sac de pizza. Il y a quoi de l'autre côté? Un petit cabanon de jardin. Mais nous avons cet endroit. Descendons. Ah mais c'est pas l'endroit où on est descendu tout à l'heure? Ah mais on pouvait monter. Et là du coup on fait le vrai jeu.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Pourquoi il y a ça? Pourquoi il y a ça sur le sol?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ah, c'est le professeur Xavier dans X-Men.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Ouais. T'as parlé d'Apertures tout à l'heure, et c'est vrai que là, niveau entreprise chelou, ouais, c'est vrai. C'est pas faux. Mais par contre, on dirait vraiment un jeu Valve. Hein. C'est vraiment un jeu Valve.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee.
OMG, merci 973 Nathan. Merci à toi pour le raid.
The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable.
Merci beaucoup, vous faisiez quoi?
Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
C'est un petit jeu, quoi. C'est vrai que... Mais je me demande si ça parodie pas les jeux Valve, justement. Je pense que c'est surtout une parodie de... C'est une parodie des jeux Valve classiques. On était sur Smash, moi je me suis fait éclater, mais t'inquiète. Ah ok, d'accord.
And a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand.
C'est clairement une fin de c'est clairement une parodie de la fin de Portal.
No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Terminez le jeu, finissez The Stanley Parable. Ouais, bah ok, bah c'était le jeu de base. Le jeu de base est pas ouf. Putain, je suis parti 2 secondes, c'est pas la même. Ah ouais, non, du tout.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
Il est où le troisième ordinateur qui me demande un input? Il est bien quelque part.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
On va reprendre celle de droite.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Okay.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Et c'est quoi là-bas? Do not lie if you are lying right now, stop. Si vous mentez maintenant...
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Ah, je suis sûr qu'il y a plein de fins et qu'il y a plein de trucs différents. Genre, ça va être... assez fou. Oh. Oh, là, ça ressemble à du Portal.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Y'a pas une carte quelque part qui me permettrait de rentrer dans cette porte-là? J'ai pas envie de l'écouter.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
La porte bleue est derrière.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
C'est la fin du jeu?
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you?
Flavs a 60 visionnages, putain!
I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Il me l'a ramené.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, It's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that,
In
Stanley.
my
Don't
soul.
even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Il va me faire redémarrer le jeu. Ah non. Stanley Worldwide Leaderboard.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Flo.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right. And if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game.
C'est
all
un
about
vrai
the
bébé.
desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice.
Je crois qu'il va faire
But of
remarquer
course,
dans le monde,
the
mais peut-être le
message of the
message de...
game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4
C'est un
hours
vrai
of play
bébé, c'est une vraie
to make
photo de
sure
bébé.
it's
Est-ce qu'il sait qu'il est diffusé
Be
sur
sure
cette
to
chaîne
keep
Twitch
notes on your
actuellement?
experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Je sais ce qui vient après. C'est assez connu.
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious
Alors,
to me that you are meant to play as a
il me
crazy
semble que
man
c'est
spying on
Firewatch, ça?
innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
Le bruit de la porte a été très... Ok. On est d'accord que c'est Firewatch?
Oh no. No, it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly, block it off.
Pourquoi?
Thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You really wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with
De préférence quelque chose avec des murs. Un jeu avec un bon gros mur infranchissable.
Insurmountable walls.
Ok.
Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Ok.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenal.
C'est FIFA, c'est ça? Ouais, bien sûr. Mais du coup, je peux avancer ici?
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yeah, I think
Vous
surely
remarquerez
we
que
might.
c'est le stade de Rocket League, mais les gradins sont vides. Oh, j'accélère. En fait, c'est vraiment le stade de Rocket League quand il est vide.
Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable... Hold on. What are you doing? Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
D'accord. Il y a une cabinette, ouais. Mais j'aimais bien le passage des jeux. Vous pouvez pas faire ça pendant 2 heures? Oh, c'est badant. Le jeu est badant. Fais des Ariel STP. Allez, let's go. Ah, la lumière. C'est d'une tristesse. Pourquoi il y a une lumière ici? J'espère que ça va pas se transformer en jeu d'horreur. D'accord.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am.
Oh là 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 là.
That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Je peux rien faire. L'écran est noir et je fais rien. Ah. Ça me redémarre au début? Putain.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken.
Oh là là.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here.
Les conseils pour ne pas se faire virer. Parlez moins. Faites
Stanley
de super
decided to go
taf.
up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Oh no, oh no, 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 not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Olia sur Rocket League OMG. Bah pourquoi pas? Petit stream sur Rocket League. Je viens de voir la vidéo sur Olia Femboy. Elle vous a marqué. Oh.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
On sait toujours pas pourquoi tous nos collègues ont disparu.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it
C'est moi
made
ou
any
je suis
logical
pris dans une
sense.
boucle?
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they
Je suis en train de tourner en boucle là.
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oui?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Et c'est la fin. Bon, les amis, je pense qu'on va arrêter le jeu. Je pense très sincèrement que le jeu est très bien, hein. Il est très très bien. Mais ouais, je m'attendais pas à ça. Salut, salut à tous ceux qui arrivent. Bonsoir, bonsoir. Le jeu fait mal au crâne, ouais c'est clair. Le jeu fait mal au crâne. Je m'attendais pas à cette migraine là. Bon, qu'est-ce qu'on fait les amis? Je vous envoie ailleurs. Bonsoir. Bonsoir. Chub est en live. Je vais vous envoyer chez Chub et puis voilà. Comme ça c'est fait. C'est fait. Et puis voilà, moi je vais aller manger et puis voilà. Il y aura une suite? Non, je pense pas. Le jeu est difficilement streamable. Il est sympa, hein, mais il est difficilement streamable. Je m'attendais pas à ça. Bon, YouTube, pouce bleu, commentaire, tout ça. Merci beaucoup. À la prochaine. Ciao.